This is not just a ruin. It is the world's very first temple, rewriting our history. Hidden for millennia in Anatolia, this structure predates all known civilizations. Built 12,000 years ago, it is twice as old as the Egyptian pyramids. It was crafted by simple nomads long before the invention of agriculture or metal. How did a society of hunters organize to build something so monumental? Historians believe the site was chosen for its commanding view of the plains. Before carving began, massive amounts of surface rock had to be cleared away. Experts suggest they used basic geometric planning to lay out the enclosures. Foundations were painstakingly carved directly into the hard limestone floor. Pillars were quarried nearby, utilizing natural weak points in the stone. Moving these monolithic blocks required immense, coordinated human effort. Simple logs and brute force were the only transportation methods available. Each pillar was roughly squared before being moved into its final position. The layout reveals that multiple circular enclosures were planned at once. Water and friction were utilized to flatten the bedrock surfaces smoothly. Rudimentary timber cranes were constructed to help guide the heavy stones. Every foundation pit required precision to prevent the pillars from tilting. Harsh Ice Age weather cycles frequently interrupted the site's preparation. Organization on this scale implies a shared belief system and hierarchy. With the foundations complete, the stage was set for the giant pillars. Historians believe the stone floors were carefully leveled to support immense weight. Every gap in the bedrock floor was packed tightly with crushed stone for stability. A vast network of tribal volunteers likely converged here during the dry seasons. Earthen ramps were constructed specifically to move the stones up the steep hill. The sheer scale of excavation indicates an unprecedented level of social harmony. Thousands of stone tools were exhausted and replaced during the site's creation. Simple measuring tools ensured the outer rings aligned perfectly with the center. To feed the builders, massive hunting expeditions targeted wild game nearby. The final prep of the foundation pits marked the end of the first massive phase. With the earth prepared, the true architecture of the temple was ready to rise. Now, the monumental task of erecting the giant T-shaped pillars truly begins. Securing the pillars required tight wooden braces before stone walls enclosed them. The two central monoliths dominated each space, representing the core focus. Surrounding the center, smaller pillars were raised to form a protective ring. The iconic T-shape was created by capping the vertical shafts with heavy stone. Thick stone walls were built between the pillars, locking them securely in place. Slowly, the open plateau transformed into a complex network of sacred spaces. No mortar was used. The walls relied strictly on precise interlocking shapes. The continuous influx of raw materials required flawless logistics over years. As the core structures rose, the landscape was permanently altered, forever. Historians believe the pillars were smoothed extensively before any detailed artwork was carved. The connecting stone barriers grew progressively thicker to withstand environmental pressure. The simultaneous build of multiple rings points to an organized, multi-tribal effort. Every subtle adjustment was made using primitive tools, requiring immense patience. Architects may have used basic plaster techniques to smooth out internal stone benches. The precision of the mortarless masonry allowed these massive walls to stand for millennia. Seasonal rains tested the drainage capabilities of the newly constructed temple floors. Before the deep carving began, master artists sketched sacred symbols onto the stone. The rising architecture reflects a highly structured spiritual community and leadership. As the rings reached completion, the monument became a beacon across the plains. Historians believe the uniform pillar heights helped delineate a sacred celestial boundary. Balancing these top-heavy structures required sophisticated engineering insight. Connecting walls were topped with flat slabs, creating distinct internal chambers. The completed shells of the temples transformed the hill into a massive sanctuary. With the main structures fully standing, the era of grand artistic carving arrived. Surprisingly, these grand structures were intentionally buried by their creators. The backfill contained thousands of wild animal bones, suggesting massive ritual feasts. Instead of being destroyed, the temples were preserved like a deliberate time capsule. This intentional burial is why the site survived perfectly intact for 12 millennia. The defining feature of these enclosures is the stunning, high-relief animal artwork. Predators like vultures, scorpions, and spiders dominate the intricate iconography. The central pillars themselves are heavily stylized representations of human figures. Belts and garments carved on the stone indicate these pillars represented ancestors or gods. This uniform artistic style across enclosures suggests highly specialized craftsmanship. Every carved creature held specific symbolic meaning within their rich mythology. Some pillars feature extraordinary 3D carvings that emerge directly from the stone. Enclosure D showcases the pinnacle of this hunter-gatherer artistic achievement. Abstract symbols like the H glyph continue to puzzle modern archaeologists today. The completed temple circles stood as profound testaments to human imagination. Fierce boars and charging bulls reflect the dangerous wildlife of the ancient era. Some researchers hypothesize that these unique symbols track celestial alignments. The completed stone pillars created a powerful sense of awe and sacred space. For generations, this temple served as a spiritual hub for surrounding regions. The naturalism of the bird carvings reveals an intimate bond with the landscape. Dangerous insects and reptiles were explicitly featured, likely as tribal guardians. With the signature carvings finished, the monument reached its artistic zenith. Complex geometric motifs sit alongside animals, creating a layered visual narrative. The stone rings acted as open-air storybooks, preserving myths for successive generations. The completed sanctuaries redefined human capability, standing ready for the ages. Historians believe the variety of animal reliefs reflects the diverse native wildlife of the region. The connecting stone enclosures were meticulously built to isolate each sacred circle perfectly. The sprawling complex created an immense network of monuments visible across the plains. The dynamic realism of the animal reliefs sets this site apart from all other Neolithic finds. Master craftsmen spent months finalizing individual pillars to achieve perfect clarity. The completed sanctuaries stood as the ultimate monument to prehistoric human cooperation. Every insect, reptile, and bird carving held a precise place in their sacred hierarchy. These repeating abstract symbols point to a shared, region-wide symbolic language. The completed structures permanently anchored the nomadic tribes to this sacred hill. The incredible craftsmanship reveals a society that deeply valued artistic expression. Göbekli Tepe stood fully realized, completely altering our view of human history. We now see that organized religion built monuments long before the dawn of farming. Simple hunter-gatherers possessed a profound capacity for engineering and artistic genius. This sacred hill proved that the urge to gather and worship came before civilization itself. Its deliberate burial preserved a pristine look into the cradle of human spirituality. 12,000 years later, the world's very first temple continues to reveal our origins. We now see that organized religion built monuments long before the dawn of farming. Simple hunter-gatherers possessed a profound capacity for engineering and artistic genius. This sacred hill proved that the urge to gather and worship came before civilization itself. Its deliberate burial preserved a pristine look into the cradle of human spirituality. 12,000 years later, the world's very first temple continues to reveal our origins.